Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Again, it's always a privilege to come to you with information updates about our struggle, about our revolution, talking about the Ambazonian revolution for independence, actualization of independence. Thank you, Ground Zero, for joining. I want to believe you all had a wonderful weekend, except for the people out there in Baffert who had a terrible weekend with French Cameroon terrorist soldiers invading Baffert, killing, taking the lives of so many people. I'm going to be talking about that, and we shall also be talking about recent statements made by former U.S. Under Secretary for Africa, Herman Cohen, and we will revisit the Swiss talks and other things taking place on Ground Zero. So please, again, thank you for joining. Thank you, Africa, all of sub-Saharan Africa, all of you in Asia, in continent USA, in Europe, London, Mexico, Canada. Please, thank you for joining. And as you have joined, please let us go ahead and quickly populate the platform, the Facebook social media platform. Go ahead and hit your share button. We're going to be having a very, very exciting show. We're going to be having a very, very exciting show. So please, I'm going to be joined from Canada with the one and only Abdul Karim Ali this evening, and also from the great state, the Commonwealth of Virginia, I will be joined by Intumfoin, Bo Herbert. So please go ahead, hit your share button quickly. Let us populate the platform so that I can come to you proper with this presentation. Hit your share button quickly. Okay. Let me see who is joining. Let me see who is joining. So please, as I do so, go ahead and hit your share button. Let me get a few things here right. Okay. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are hitting your share button. I see the numbers are rising quite rapidly. I see over 400 right now. Please hit your share button as you join so I can bring in the guests. But before I bring in the guests, I just like to remind our Amba Club members out there to please, if you have not yet updated your payments on the platform, that is the Amba Club platform on ABC website page, please do so, because quite a number of payments have not gone through. Please do so. Go visit the platform abcambatv.org and click on the link and update your payment information. And again, for all of you out there who have not yet registered, please, I'm appealing to you to support ABC. The only way ABC stay on the air is if we meet the bills. So please, I am appealing to all of you out there, Ambazonians, who believe that we are doing a service to the revolution. Please assist us. Go on the website abcambatv.org, and right on the web page you will find a little link on the top right hand. Click on that link where it says join the club, and follow the promptings and register. You don't need to pay so much to be a member. $5, $10, $20, whatever you choose, whatever you can afford. And remember also the CID, compulsory independence dues. So please, lots and lots of people keep on calling, trying to sign up to be members, to pay the CID. I hope that you are one of those. Please, let's do so. Let's sponsor, let's support the revolution by paying our dues. Without those dues, we will go nowhere, absolutely nowhere. So please, I encourage you, go ahead and do that. Please, if you have just joined, go ahead and hit your share button. Hit your share button, ladies and gentlemen. Again, Tumfoimbo Herbert and Abdul Karim Ali will be joining me momentarily in this broadcast. But before we get there, a lot happened over the weekend, especially in Baffert, where French Cameroon army invaded Baffert and killed quite a number of innocent citizens, innocent Ambazonians. I was supposed to have been joined by one of our correspondent on the ground, but unfortunately I learned that they shut down electricity and the phone was on charge. She couldn't join. However, we have learned, let me read some of those notes here. We have learned that French Cameroon troops came into Baffert yesterday, entered a number of villages, killed a number of people, and actually beheaded one of them and hung the head on the stick. It is pathetic what French Cameroon soldiers they are doing on our people. We only hope that this will not continue. We hope that French Cameroon will not seize the opportunity of this coronavirus, where we are trying to give our people the ground zero the opportunity to stay home. We hope ground zero is, we hope that the public will not take opportunity of this to go chasing after unarmed people and killing them at gunpoint. We just hope that is not going to continue. But however, we condemn total. Let me read what somebody sent out. He said, this morning I got some distress calls and disturbing images coming from Mambo. Mambo is in Baffert. The images are very graphic, and for some reasons I won't be publishing them. One of our brothers and son was beheaded by the military early this morning in front of their compound. He is the son of Ta Ngwa, fine boy, a neighbor to Subetor. He was not even a fighter. Ta Rafa Ngwa, Ndita of Buko in Bagum too, is equally lying dead behind his house. Ta Ngwa Ndita is a cousin to Nero's Patrick, Gwendolyn Manka Celestine, Nebanya Mokong, and Imelda Mfoma. The military is still stationed at Atimolo and Mosa. It's very likely that they arrested many people since they came in just before dawn. No gunshot fired, and they came on foot. Please kindly call your family back home and caution them to stay indoors or go to nearby bushes for safety. Above all, let's commit our families back into the hands of God, according to this writer here. All right, so that is what took place in Baffert yesterday. Now, this other person wrote to me and said, those useless Lada public are in Baffert. They killed 2 civilians yesterday, that is Sunday. And I learned they went home with 4 corpses. They arrested some guys and got them well beaten, breaking their ribs. This happened in a community hall. So one of them escaped through the window, and they went hunting for him in the hospital. One of the captured escaped through a window, and they went hunting for him in the hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, That is what is going on in Baffert. It is pathetic. It is pathetic what French Cameroon is doing to innocent, unarmed civilians at a time like this, at a moment like this, when everywhere the world over is under the pains of this pandemic, so-called coronavirus. But I don't have much to say about that other than say that if they think that through intimidation they are going to make us to yield, to surrender to their torture, to their killings, we are going to surrender our land, surrender our destiny into their hands. I can assure you, every Ambazonian out there, that will never happen. It is not going to happen. I know you may say, but some of you are giving up. Some of you are turning back to La République du Cameroon. Some of you are going back and pleading and begging La République du Cameroon to forgive you. Yeah, that is very true. But ladies and gentlemen, listen to me. We have always said, unto the last man standing. Unto the last man standing. And so we still have men and women, millions of them, who are still standing for this cause, for this struggle. And I can assure you that those still standing are doing everything possible to avenge these killings. Ladies and gentlemen, we ask you all out there, the only thing you can do is not to lament out there. What you can do is to support your county, support your local government. I got a message that says the boys could not retaliate. The 7 Qatas could not retaliate because they ran out of some equipment, basic, very important equipment. Please, let us replenish whatever they lack right now. If you are from I think Baffert is in, I don't know whether Baffert is still in Tuba, LGA, or is independent now. I really don't have good knowledge about that. But please, if you come from Baffert, you come from Mezam, I think 7 Qatas are some of the best, if not the best, inside all of Mezam. Let us stand with them. Let us support them. I wish I had their cash information here. I would have put on the screen so that you can make donations. But please, if you are watching, and you have information for 7 Qatar, donation information for 7 Qatar, please put it on your screen for those of you watching by way of Facebook or YouTube. Let us support them, stand with them, and replenish them. We will never give up. We will never give up. Not under any form of intimidation from La République du Cameroon and even their agents from within us. We will never give up. I have heard some people say that until Chris Anu and Sako leaves, they are not going to collaborate. We are not leaving. We're not going anywhere. Hello, we are here. We're not leaving. So if you want, just declare your intentions and choose your sides and let people know where you are. Anybody fighting Chris Anu and Sako, you are not for this revolution. We're not going anywhere. All right. So please let us support the 7 Qatas and all the boys fighting in Baffert. I don't know how many camps are there, but I think there is 7 Qatar and another camp. But all the camps, I think they are controlled by 7 Qatas. So let's do that, ladies and gentlemen. We have hit over the 700 mark here on Facebook, and so I won't keep you any longer. I would like to bring to you my panel for today. Again, I am having with me here on set Comrade Abdul Karim, who is joining me all the way from Canada, visiting in Canada, and of course, Intum Bo Herbert, who is also joining the set from the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you for joining me, gentlemen.
Thank you very much, Comrade Chris.
Thank you for having me, Secretary Chris, and thank you for being with me, Comrade Bo.
I'm sorry, let me get you. I don't think I can hear you here, but in a moment, we'll get that right. Give me one moment. I know you can hear me. If you can adjust your camera, centralize a little bit, please. We appreciate that. Okay. And Abdul Karim. Yes, sir. I think I can hear you now. Comrade Abdul, it's a pleasure to have you here, sir.
Thank you for having me once more, Secretary Chris, and thank you for being with me, Comrade Bo. Thank you for being with Arstan. Thank you for being together, dear Southern Cameroonians. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
All right.
Yeah.
If you can, for a moment, I hope from Bo Herbert can hear me now.
I can hear you. I don't know whether you can hear me.
Okay, I hear you 5 on 5. I hear you 5 on 5. If you can readjust again, I'm sorry, your camera, the space on the head and the frame is too wide. You know that. That would be better.
Well, I'm using my phone today, so it's a lot more complicated.
I get it. All right, awesome. Let's go. Let's manage it that way. All right, Tim von Boherbet and Abdul, I'd like you to say a word on these killings taking place in Baffert. It is pathetic what the Republic of Cameroon continues to do at this time of a worldwide pandemic. They are going out chasing people, killing them, not just killing them, cutting off their heads and hanging them on stakes. Tim von.
Oh, thank you very much, Comrade Chris. It's a great pleasure to have to be on with Abdul Karim Ali. It's a guy for whom I have just tons of respect, like I have tons of respect for everybody in this revolution. And that includes those of you at home, those of you on ground zero, those of you who are bearing the brunt of this fight, those of you who are making us proud every day, whether you're in the bush, whether you are an internally displaced person, whether you are in the dungeons, whether you are in prison. Our hearts are with you. You are in our debt. And please just know, we pray for you. We have you in our thoughts at all moments. We celebrate you and we ask the Lord to protect you always.
Thank you. What would you have to say about these killings in Baffert? I'm sure you must have learned about them. How pathetic they are. Desperate that French Cameroon can be, going after unarmed, innocent people, killing them in this time of the pandemic.
It is very clear that La République du Cameroun has always been very desperate, but the desperation has hit a different level right now. This goes back to the point we had made on Ambazonia Calling, which was to say that they had launched an operation called Find and Delete, and that the purpose was to go kind of door to door. They just did that to the day before they entered Baffert, and they're going systematically across Ambazonia. Their goal is obliterate the Ambazonian fighters, and their purpose is let us do it in the middle of a pandemic while the world is focused on fighting that pandemic. So attention is not on us while we commit all these massacres. The first thing we must say to La République is, you will not kill enough of us to stop us. There is no death, no amount of a plague that will stop the people of Ambazonia. We will get to independence. We will hoist our flag in Boya. The shame is on you. The shame is on the international community that is not following up on obliging La République du Cameroun to withdraw from Ambazonia to stop the killings. It is not because the world doesn't know. It is because the world is acting as an accomplice to La République du Cameroun. So it is a big shame, but the people of Ambazonia, they will win in the end, because they should stop chasing after people who are self-defenders today, because every single Ambazonian will rise after you kill all those self-defenders. For the moment, all of us are not self-defenders because all of us don't have guns. So forget the idea of targeting any Ambazonian to kill. You would have to kill all of us to take Boya.
Thank you. Abdul, do you have a word from that?
Yeah, let me begin by praising God and ask Him to send His blessings and peace upon His prophet, righteous men and women, and to Muslims who are in this particular holy month, and to my senior Comrade Bo here, from whom I've been an English student from the days of my school, and I remain to be. Yeah, coming to this subject, let me cue in with what Comrade Bo just said, but I'll start by accusations. I'll accuse those who are now traitors and enablers. The only reason you see, Secretary Chris, why La République had the audacity to kill Acom Julius on the 8th of December 2016 is because we have enablers. The blood of our people is in the hands of enablers and those who have become outright traitors today. But like Comrade Bull said, it would take killing all of us, which they can't. I'd mentioned that even if it remained 50 of us, it would take that few to liberate homeland. When I joined this fight for liberation, I joined this fight for liberation because I understand what it means to be free. In the West, when children get to the age of 18, they can't help but ask for freedom. They want liberty. And these same countries think that liberty is enough just for European countries or for some rich Asian countries and not Kens, because they are actually assisting and abating La République du Cameroon in this particular time of a pandemic that has swept the world off our feet. And La République, like Comrade Bull said, is trying to hide behind this pandemic to sweep us all. But even the 7 Qatar alone, I'm sure La République cannot finish them. They are equal to the task because God is with them. They are not fighting a blind war. They are not attacking any innocent people. They are within their right to defend themselves and their property and their statehood. It is within their right morally, theologically, and internationally. It is within their right. So it is a shame that it is happening, but let all of us know with the most recent traitors. So Foncha, Nicolas Santos, the blood of these children are in your hands. Enjoy whatever you have while it lasts. The blood of these children are going to not keep watching this. And this is why Southern Cameroonians must realize.
Comrade, why would you pick out these two? I mean, why?
Well, I saw them last week on TV, outrightly selling their people. This is why I've mentioned others before, but these are the most recent elders who I would think will understand this world nothing if you have no integrity and if you lose what God has given you as a kid. Why? That's why I choose this particular tool. But I was about to say something before you asked me this question. It's like, yeah. Chris, Southern Cameroonians are now busy trying to attack people, trying to even harm their own people. Personally, I want to tell Southern Cameroonians the only reason I'm in this is because I think there's little I can contribute to liberate the people of Southern Cameroon, who are my children and my neighbors' children. It's not itself, and I'm beyond human destruction. The only person that has command over my life is the Creator. When He calls me, I'll go. But any human being, not even 1,000 of them, cannot take a hair off my head unless by the permission of God. So this La République, who is abated now even by our own people, because by extension, even the detractors in our camp are facilitators. They are helping the international community to think that we are so confused that thinking about independence is granting another South Sudan, which is, by the way, a very wrong premise if that is what the international community has. I'll end here while we continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Comrade Bo, going back to the reference that Abdul mentioned there, it's not restricted to those two. There is a phenomenon. We see quite a number of those who started this struggle with us rushing back to La République and kneeling down, offering apologies. What do you make of this phenomenon? And those who have not gone back to La République, you see from their speeches, they tell you they are no longer in this struggle.
Come, and for many of us, you know, fufu is a staple. Before you can get good fufu, you have to go through the shifting process. You know, then you find the great flour, and then you make that great fufu, and you can eat it with your kata. Part of the reasons why my jaws are this big, but that's another story for another day. The reason I'm saying this is because in our revolution, and in every revolution, you go through that process. There are people in this revolution who are chaff, who are going to have to fall by the wayside, who are never going to grow because they are full of hate, because they did not join this revolution committed to their own dignity. I've seen a video on WhatsApp recently of a Nigerian Reverend Father of the Catholic Church who said, you know, don't be amazed that people don't love you because they don't love themselves. These people don't love themselves. They don't appreciate themselves. They don't understand what dignity is. And the numbers are big. For Ambazonians, please remember that the people of South Africa, in their millions and millions, had to rely on the people of Soweto, not the people of Johannesburg, not the people of Pretoria,
Right.
the people of Soweto, some of them living under the most precarious conditions possible, under the toughest conditions of poverty and misery. They are the ones who would not give up and who allowed South Africa to triumph, and who are the heroes of the rainbow nation that has been built today in South Africa. Remember the people of Bamenda, Abakwa people. You remember yourselves in the early 1990s. You stood your ground to push for multi-party politics. That is how it works in every revolution. Do not be fooled by the crowd. There's just going to be a few of us, and even if it's only a few of us that are left, we promise you that Ambazonia will be free. Our independence cannot be stopped. Now, I would say also that very surprisingly, those numbers of enablers and infiltrators, they grow abroad as well. They grow among the diaspora.
Right.
To recognize an enabler and an infiltrator, just listen to them call somebody else an infiltrator. That is how you identify them. And now for people of Ambazonia, if you know that La République du Cameroon will bring charges against someone in this revolution and is capable of condemning them for the acts that they have done in this revolution, know that that person is working with you. Do not listen to those who want you to turn around and hate yourself and defeat your own revolution by not uniting with someone who is working on the same side with you.
Comrade, both of you, quickly. Ground Zero at this moment needs a message of reassurance, especially from us here, the leadership in the diaspora. When they see all these so-called diasporans going on television, on Ground Zero, on Equinox, on Afric Media, on CRTV, telling a lot of people how sorrowful they are from even daring to try them. Ground Zero, the message that a lot of public wants to send on Ground Zero is that we lost it. Nothing is going to happen. We cannot win. And you can imagine how many are demoralized hearing messages like this and seeing those fellows on their television screens. What would you say to Ground Zero to reassure them this revolution, the state of the revolution remains very, very strong?
Is that me going first? Okay, let me go. So
Yes.
I would say very clearly that they only need to look to what Mr. Biya is doing. I heard my brother Abdul Karim Ali say that it is a government of honest criminals because they were confessing their sins the other day. They have not confessed enough yet. The people of Ambazonia should remember what has happened here. What has happened is that the regime has done something they have never done before. They have gone out there to admit guilt. The guilt they admitted was, we admit war crimes. We admit crimes against humanity. What they have done has taken that matter out of their hands. If the international community is real, if the international community can go back to this issue, which I believe they will, as soon as we have dealt with COVID-19, the jurisdiction to hear Mr. Biya, who is the commander-in-chief of those forces that perpetrated those war crimes, the jurisdiction is the International Criminal Court. So we expect to hear them go before the International Criminal Court. And to our people at home, please be aware that people you don't suspect at all are going to preach a message that you cannot believe is coming from their mouths. I have heard leaders from the Catholic Church say things that are completely unacceptable because we know where they stand as a church. And we've heard members of that church and leaders of that church say things that are unacceptable. We have now on record a report put before by the government that also says that one of the authors was a leader of the Catholic Church who is on record indicating the number of people who were massacred in Gabu. But the report says something else. He says, I have names, 22 names. But the report says 13 people were killed. How can a bishop stand up to that lie? How can a big bishop lend his name to that lie? We are going to have all of us to hold every one of our leaders accountable. And I speak as a Christian of the Catholic Church. Our church has got to speak the truth, and our bishops, because they wear a red cassock, they should be willing to shed their blood for their people, because all of us are willing to do that. I don't speak from abroad because I'm not willing to go to jail. If I have to go to jail for trying to free the people of Ambazonia, so be it. And if I have to die, then so be it too.
Abdul, please.
Oh yeah, thank you, Comrade Bo, for that insight. I think I dealt with this case of Gabo in depthly 2 days ago and 4 days ago at Brick Media and Equinox. But now regarding these people who are purporting themselves to be quote unquote leaders of Southern Cameroonians, dear Southern Cameroonians, you know your leaders. These people did not control even flies before they went to La République du Cameroon. It is very clear that La République du Cameroon is doing shopping. They are now in the market shopping for the weak brains, and of course, only cheap things can be bought by dishonesty or by a dishonest person. So really and truly, it is about time that you see the sifting going on. I used an analogy of a funnel the other day, whereby you start by pouring many things in the big funnel, but you know what goes through the small hole? Something goes through the small hole. So those things that would go through the small hole are the things that necessarily need to go out in the first place. And you will see what will settle in. That is your revolution right there. There's a difference between politics and revolution. There's a difference between conscience and the brain. The brain, by the way, has been defined by scientists as something illusional. People think the brain is in the head, but it could be anywhere. Your conscience is in your heart. You know, Jesus Christ was preaching one day, and they told him, your parents are out there and your brothers looking for you. And he turned around and asked the disciples and those who came to tell him that his parents or family were outside looking for him. He said, who is my brother and sister? And who is my mother? Those of you here with me, who me are my brothers and sisters. Those people who will speak the language of revolution. Those people who will not distract. Those people who will not smear at themselves. Those people who will focus. Those people who can even start by the basic of education, defining the terms, defining what revolutions are those people that you should listen to. Until then, stay resolute. Your resolve is what is fighting like the Republic of Cameroon. And by the way, implicitly, when you start buying people like Soponcha, Nicolas Santos, when you start buying those people, it's an admission of defeat. That you lost. You bought Bala, it didn't work. You bought even great minds, it didn't work. And now you're buying what you would never even try to have as representatives, even at the preliminary level of any conversations. So it's an admission of defeat by the Republic of Cameroon. Yes, Southern Cameroonians, stay resolved. Trust in yourself. Realize that you and I'm just 40, turning 40 soon. Even me and you, even those at 30, I will argue that they are not fighting this war of revolution, this war of independence for themselves. We are doing it for our children. We are doing it for posterity. And coming to this, that is tearing us apart. Because what La République is doing, they are using fighting regarding leadership to tear us apart. My dear brothers and sisters, what can we do with leadership if God doesn't grant us? Let's first of all liberate ourselves. And when it is time, they act on a stool in the living room or on a small chair in the kitchen, and I would go to a chair if that is where the people decide. But now we are simply cracking the wall. If your wall is not cracked, there will be no cockroaches and lizards in your house. We are responsible, especially the diaspora. Unfortunately, not everyone here, but the diaspora has given La République the impetus to step over our herds by killing and even buying. The message to the ground is that stay resolute. Your revolution is on course, trust me, and we won't give up, and we will never give in. Even if, like Comrade Bo said, these things are always on few. If you look at the liberation of places like Texas, 5-man army per se, 5 people who stood in front and rallied the people. So if it means 50 people, we are going to finish it. This is why the subject that follows ahead is very imperative, because when the few that are sane also go insane, then we have a problem. Inshallah, your few sane people will never go insane. And that is the trust, that is the confidence you should have right now. That is the matter. It's a question and teacher, and with the teachers and the majority will be the same.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's move over to a subject which has raised some controversy. I personally am at the middle of that controversy. Last week, I came on the air and essentially indicted former U.S. Undersecretary of State Cohen, Herman Cohen, for flip-flopping when it comes to this Southern Cameroon struggle, because he has held quite a number of positions on this issue. There was a moment he stood for one Cameroon, one and indivisible Cameroon, but decentralized. There was another moment he stood for a federal Cameroon. Now we have some among us who believe that there is some U.S. Mediated settlement that is being discussed. In fact, Cohen is supposed to be the one leading that U.S.-led initiative. As far as I'm concerned, and as far as the interim government is concerned, we have no idea that anything exists as a U.S.-led initiative. Now, for the record, I have personally invited Ambassador Cohen to come on ABC for us to have a conversation on some of the claims that he makes. Cohen sent me an email and said he wasn't ready to come on ABC. Then we all saw the tweet he had out there last week insinuating that peace is returning to Cameroon, referring to the two Cameroons, and invoking some U.S.-led initiative, which we know, ladies and gentlemen, which we know. He is all referring to himself, wanting to be at the middle of this, leading this so-called U.S.-mediated talks. But the U.S., we all know, has endorsed the Swiss initiative. The U.S. is not known to have started any initiative towards resolving the conflict in the southern Cameroons. I want to get your take on this, and Comrade Bo, I will start with you because I know you have had some dealings with Ambassador Cohen. I call him flip-flopping, very, very inconsistent and unlike a diplomat. What would you have to say, sir?
Thank you very much, Comrade Chris. This is a very important topic, and I want Ambazonians to listen to me very, very carefully. Look, we have tried to define a colonialist. If you want to properly define a colonialist, Ambassador Cohen is a leading colonialist. He does not have respect for the people of Ambazonia. If he did, he would not open his mouth when we are defining our future. He has nothing to do with it. But it just happens also that he has a lot to do with it, because we are here because people like Ambassador Cohen have always used blood money to meddle in Africa and meddle in the Cameroons. In 1972, by Ambassador Cohen's own confession, he was in charge of Cameroon at the State Department, and he was sleeping at the wheel when Ahijo did away with the two states equal in status. In fact, Ambassador Cohen helped Ahijo to do that. What is the proof? The proof is that ever since the people of Ambazonia have been agitating for independence, Ambassador Cohen has come out and has said famously, you do not deserve it, you just deserve decentralization. You do not deserve more than a federation. You don't have the economy to sustain a country. Just the stuff that colonialists say. And then he comes out and he says, look, in January, at the end of January, Ambassador Cohen was out denouncing crimes against humanity in the Cameroons. And this month, he is telling you that everything is back to normal, and that somehow from his basement as a retired diplomat, he will now make policy on behalf of those who are actively in politics in the United States, who have said very clearly that we stand with the Swiss-led process. This guy is a joke. And Ambazonians who continue to follow people like him and people who claim that the US government will put in place a process for mediation between us and La République du Cameroon, those people don't have a brain. They don't understand what is going on. There's no process coming. And it has been said very clearly by the people in charge, by the ambassador, the undersecretary in charge of African affairs. It has been said by Karim, who is in charge of the Black Caucus. There is nothing like that coming. The Swiss-led process is the only offer on the table. It is already entirely endorsed by the international community. The same people who are telling you that the US will start a process also told you that Canada will start a process. They also told you that some Norwegian experts were coming on a white horse to come and save you. An institute in Belgium that was going to bring you this stuff. They told you that, Basque country diplomacy was going to bring you independence. They are selling you a yarn. They are spinning. And there's no need to listen to that. And it's not to discredit them. It is just to say the extent to which every tall tale they have told has crumbled on its feet because it cannot stand up. It cannot stand right. The only process that stands on the table today is the Swiss-led process. I'm sure, and I realize that they are surprised that this happened, because perhaps they did not think that the people of Ambazonia were serious about getting to independence. Please ignore Ambassador Cohen. The last thing I will say is that I was on the call when Ambassador Cohen made an offer to us to pay him $30,000 a month to lobby for the people of Ambazonia. Well, I believe that he was indeed making a call to La République du Cameroun, which has ever since retained his services. Otherwise, he's working for free, and I can write a bill for him if he wants to get money from La République. Right now, he's working for them, and he's doing a more disgraceful job than the French themselves, who are the sponsors of La République du Cameroun.
And Bo, before I get to Comrade Abdul, there you made a point there which I have seen. It appears that Cohen wouldn't mind what party from which he gets a contract. He's willing to work for La République and at the same time hanging around with different Southern Cameroon groups looking for a contract.
No, he is working for La République and is hanging around Southern Cameroonian groups to discourage people from thinking that the Swiss-led process will go anywhere. La République du Cameroon knows that they are stuck with the Swiss-led process. They know that. They are desperate to find more people who will say we're walking away from the Swiss-led process. Now, think about this, people of Ambazonia. If you walk away from the Swiss-led process right now, what are you going to ask next from the international community? The next thing you're going to ask is we need a process of negotiation. Let's not get silly. We have seen people walk away from negotiations. The Palestinians walked away in 1948. It's going to be 100 years soon. And the two-state federation, the two-state solution that was offered them in 1948 under the Baffert Declaration, and they rejected, they are still going back today and begging for it. People of Ambazonia, when you are at the negotiating table, you stay at the negotiating table. Nobody is going to impose any deal on the people of Ambazonia. Nobody is going to impose something that we are going to sign on to that we don't accept. So it is not the process, because some will tell you that the process is not good. It is not fair. It does not include everybody. Every nation on earth that is important enough to think that they have value to bring to that cause, they should sign up. If they don't sign up, they don't matter. And all the nations that really matter now are on the table. So when people tell you that they want multi-negotiators and mediators, we already have multi. The US is there, Canada is there, the UK is there, and multi-institutions, they are there at the table. So Cohen is the only one who is walking around telling the world, I want some blood money, and I want it from Ambazonia, and I want it from La République du Cameroun. That's called prostitution, political prostitution. And no one should deal with a political harlot like that.
Abdul, please.
Oh, yeah, thank you. It's fascinating each time I hear Comrade Bull speaking. It reminds me when we were on the train from Geneva going to Montreal, the first time I met Comrade Bull and the first time we were in a high-level meeting talking about Ambazonia. So, yeah, thank you once more, sir. Okay, the logic of a madman is a sane person's confusion. When a madman produces logic, for a sane man, it's a confusion. The situation between Ambassador Cohen and our comrade, who would choose a stranger upon us, presents this analogy for me. That the guy is mad and is presenting his mad logic, and our sane people are confused in his mad logic. That is basically it. Dear Southern Cameroonians, I ask you this question. The mere fact that La République du Cameroon away from the Swiss table, does it mean that the Swiss table is good for them or bad? I leave it to your imagination. Because this weak argument has been floating in the air. Why is La République not on the table? Exactly. Why are they running from us who are waiting for them?
Comrade, before you get there, comrade, before you get to the Swiss thing, we will get there. But being in Canada or even coming from home, did you hear anything like a U.S.-led initiative?
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was taken by Comrade Bo's last comments. Let me now come to that.
Okay.
Dear Southern Cameroonians, I'll take out my lenses so you can see my eyes. This is Ramadan. We don't tell lies in this month, we Muslims. So, I have multiple attestation from all valid authority for anything that concerns Southern Cameroon's negotiations with La République du Cameroon. I mean from all, not some, from all valid authority. I have 1000% confirmation that there is only one process, and that is in Switzerland, whether you and I like it or not. When Comrade Bo says it's in Switzerland, it doesn't mean he loves the Swiss or he supports them. He's telling you that that is the reality. There is the only conversation that is going to begin. All of them said there is a conversation, and the United States of America is 100% in support of it. Canada, 100% in support of it. These two countries and others who matter say that there is no other thing. This is the only play in town. I'll wear back my lenses. Now, the thing that beats me, doesn't it beg the question that if you read the tweet, Ambassador, he gives a federalist position, buries us under the foot of Camp2, because I can argue that what Comrade Boy is saying ties very well. He must have taken part of that blood money from Camp2. He buries you under that, and then he throws a confusionist statement that let the Swiss US-led process begin. Have the US ever told anybody they want to start anything? And I'm asking someone who is retired, you take his position and you even quarrel your comrades with over a state. The United States of America unequivocally, in different instances, have said that they are in total support of the Swiss-led process. What do we want, we Southern Cameroonians? We are the ones with all of this. We use the argument of force or the force of arguments. We are fighting because we want to talk. We are not talking because we want to fight. And here comes an opportunity. For Sudan, it took 20 years. For Eritrea, 35 years. Yours, it is, or 3 years. God upload, and you challenge God. So Jesus Christ wants you. He said, you are not of me if you don't carry a cross and follow me. Southern Cameroonians, you need to carry a cross and follow this revolution. Don't think that you lazy, sleep over information and have other people carry a cross. The bad thing, what weakens my spirit, is that people base their argument on suspicions and assumptions, speculations. You say, Abdul Karim, you use a land, I say yes. You met SG, I say yes. You met the Swiss government, I said yes. Perhaps you've met the US ambassador, the Canadian ambassador. You've met people, I say yes. And then I give you what I know about them, and then you argue.
Comrade, let me take us back a little bit there. One of the problems in this thing is not actually Cohen. We know Cohen is a businessman who is looking out there looking for a contract. I think the main problem is with some of our people, and unfortunately some of these people claim to be leaders. I read a post on Facebook where somebody said, oh, Chris is talking against Cohen. How on earth can you talk against Cohen? Why couldn't he reach out to Cohen? They forget that, I mean, of course they didn't know I have reached out to Cohen already, but Cohen would not come on ABC. But they are saying this to the effect that oh, the US-led process is now messed up because Chris has spoken against Cohen. It appears to me that anything in white skin, an African sees that as a god. Cohen is, I think, 89 years old. The man is almost as good as the grave. And every African thinks that Cohen is a solution to this crisis.
Oh yes, it's a big problem that we would trust strangers over our own. I don't know where we got this spirit from. I didn't learn it from our parents. That a stranger's opinion becomes more relevant than what your brother is telling you. And what people of the ACT, the Amazonian Coalition team, have made as claims is that we need to listen to the process and follow it. Once we smell anything, we are ready to back out. We want you to come with us. We don't want any mistakes, but you're not going to hold us back. We are going to go ahead. Yeah, Secretary Chris, look at this. I myself, and Southern Cameroonians, it has consumed them that they don't have reason anymore. You write, even I saw what you write, Secretary Chris. I don't see any offense in that. I don't see any insults on the person of Cohen, personally. I also went on to write my opinion about all of these things. You white and black, and people read red and blue simply because they are so blindfolded with hate, envy, and egoism. Because really, what I see is not that people are engaging the substance, are engaging persons. They are leaving the information and they are attacking the informer. It's basically strawman. All of these things you see from our comrades who don't want to engage the Swiss process and make what they make out of it. They are throwing red herrings, tu quoque, ad hominems. This is all they have. This is all they have. But I want to encourage you, Secretary Chris, particularly, focus. I know what you're doing. I know the hard questions you're asking SG, for example. You and I have been on the same page on that. People don't even know what people go through. And all they do is they sit in the back, throw out red herrings, weak arguments in silence. My dear Southern Cameroonians, it is us and us alone. The self-determination is not about Cohen. It is us. God has given us the opportunity. It's either we engage it or we throw it. We throw it. We will tell the world that we are not ready for peace. We are not ready for justice. And then they will have no choice but to pin us to what we're coming from. We have to be careful. And by the way, I'm waiting. I made it very clear that I'm willing to go even to France if they would say they are ready to stop killing my people for me to talk with La République du Cameroon. People have said Finland is coming up. Norway is coming up. Where is it?
Talking about that, I think there's a fellow on the social media challenging you to a debate to that effect, and this is the same fellow who went about advertising one negotiation reach with Norway. I'm still waiting to hear about Norway. Now it is Cohen whom they are looking up to. But let me get to Ntumfon. I know he's been waiting for long. Ntumfon, we had two resolutions, one from Congress, one from the Senate. 292 from the Senate, 358 from the House. And they all essentially talked about a one Cameroon. Is this the US-led negotiation or mediation that they want Cohen to initiate for us?
I'll say something more, Comrade Chris. Those resolutions that you pointed to are very important because they tell you the mindset that is informing people like Ambassador Cohen. Now, the only thing that I tell my American brothers and sisters and those in diplomacy, those that I meet on Capitol Hill, those that I meet in all of our negotiations, is a very simple thing. The day you will tell me that a US citizen is willing to be stopped on the highway by a police officer who speaks Spanish and nothing but Spanish, that they will walk into a court and will go through the process in Spanish, that the president sitting at the White House will speak to them in Spanish, that their children will have to go to school in Spanish, or they will switch from high school in English to university in Spanish. The people who will say that they can go in with their wife, their mothers can go in to see a doctor, and that doctor is Spanish speaking here in the United States, or those who will go from France and meet these people who are speaking English, any one of them who can tell me that they will be comfortable in that country, that they will consider that country their own, those people are hypocrites. The people of Ambazonia will not be directed by Cohen and the others. And we are sorry that people believe that if you are in the West, you are a citizen of the Western world, and you happen to have been a diplomat, all what we need to do is to kiss your feet. Well, I would say kiss my behind. It is not true. We don't have to do it. Nobody can determine for the people of Ambazonia what it is that we want. And what we want is the restoration of independence. Cohen was born a little too late because he should have stopped the vote. He should have stopped the United States from voting for our independence on the 21st of April, 1961. And he should have stopped all the 63 other countries that joined the United States in voting. The French tried very well, but they failed. Okay, La République tried very well, but they failed. That independence that we obtained gave us more votes than Israel obtained. And it is time that the world understands and listens to Mr. Biya. If Mr. Cohen listened only to Mr. Biya sitting at the Peace Summit in Paris told billionaire Mo Ibrahim, we tried to forcefully integrate them. We tried to assimilate them. And Mr. Biya added, and we failed. Cohen, please listen. They failed. There's nothing you can do to make it succeed. Now, the generation that is fighting today grew up in an Ambazonia in which people were not massacred as our children are growing up right now and are seeing. My children who live here in the United States are willing to go to Ambazonia any day and fight, because it is unacceptable to do that to any people, anytime, anywhere. So this process of constantly suggesting to us that there will be a process coming, the people don't understand. Listen, the Undersecretary for African Affairs, if people have followed very well, has had to go back on a few things that he said. He's had to go back on the stuff where he said, you know, after Sudan, he's looking to Cameroon. Because what happened in Sudan? A dictator fell. They were looking to Cameroon for what? For another dictator to fall. He said something additional. He said the boundaries of Cameroon, for the moment, it was in a public speech, official declaration. And then they're going back on it. They're going back because some people in this revolution managed to be in the same team as Mr. Biya. Now, let us even suppose that the Swiss-led process will turn out badly. How would it happen? How could it ever happen that Ambazonians who call themselves Ambazonians agree with Mr. Biya on the Swiss-led process? I don't know anything on which I agree with Mr. Biya. Nothing. So when people start agreeing with Mr. Biya that they will not go to the Swiss-led process, you have to wonder who they're working for. You have to wonder what their motives are. And the motives, people of Ambazonia, are very simple. We did not bring this to the table. We are too jealous of those who did it. We will prevent this independence from happening unless it comes through us. They cannot follow the example of Christ. We're in the middle of Easter. The Christ washed his apostles' feet. He told them that I come to serve. He was glorified by service. The people of Ambazonia need to identify these leaders. You will recognize your leaders if they are modest, if they are humble, if they stay honest to you, if they are available and accessible to you, if they're willing to speak to you without reading from speeches, if they're willing to have these conversations with you. People who are complete fiction, who are reading scripts on a permanent basis, who are getting their teams to write stuff for them, are not speaking to you from their hearts. And if you examine those hearts, they are full of evil. Let us march our people forward towards the process that exists, because everyone who is telling you that a process exists out there is asking you to drop a bird in hand to go fetch two in the bush. That does not work in any logic. If the process fails in Switzerland, we will be the first people to tell the people of Ambazonia that it is not working. We are not here to cover up for the Swiss. We are not here to negotiate half bread for the people of Ambazonia. We are here to get an entire nation restored in its right, in its dignity, and the people of Ambazonia return to their freedom and their independence. And we will settle for nothing less.
In two point, Ambassador Cohen is in the middle of a number of groupings, Ambazonian groupings here in the U.S. I think about a month ago, there was this group, is it Southern Cameroon's Coalition for Negotiation? He was in the middle of that group. He's also in the middle of another group that is, I don't know what to say, is led by David Makongo. He is everywhere. He is everywhere. And his name is everywhere within these groups. What should Ambazonians think of these groups? Because another problem with these groups is that you look at these groups, they are not for independence. They are not for independence. Cohen himself has never talked independence. What are they thinking of mediating, negotiating for?
You know, I mentioned earlier that you can recognize a political prostitute through their flirting, when they go left and right. And Cohen, that description you gave just helps to make the point even stronger. Now, our people on the other side, you know, the people who lack courage, who have to go and get themselves drunk, then they'll come and speak to you, and they can be bold enough to speak to you. Or back in the village, they would have to go and get in a juju. Then they can come and beat you because they can't beat you standing face to face with you. That is, these people are using Cohen like their juju. And they believe that because he's white skinned, because he's a former diplomat, because he served at the highest ranks in the office of the United States, that everybody should just fall down. You know, that is not going to happen. The argument that they are making doesn't have a head, it doesn't have a tail, it doesn't have reason. It is absolutely based on a feeling, yeah, look, we need to collapse. Don't forget, one of the groups that you did not quote is the group that's going around with Nebafontem. And by the way, let me just say, do a shout out. Let me do a shout out to Pat Tasang in jail. Look, my brother, that pen you have got, keep using it. May the Lord bless you. You put Dr. Nebafontem in his place. And Dr. Nebafontem is one of those, and I'm sorry I use his name, but he's one of those who worked very hard to collapse the Swiss process. He worked in the background, he worked in the front, he worked openly. He struggled very hard to try and destroy it. And then they went to Boston and they promised that they were going to crash it. They were going to crash it. That was what they said. And they were working with who? They were working with people like Dr. Fomanjong. Who is Dr. Fomanjong? The man who hosted Maurice Kamto. Who is Kamto? The guy who said we can never get independence. Look, it just gets worse. The coalitions that these people are building are nowhere in the interest of the people of Ambazonia. And we need to just step away, do our thing. Because whatever they promise you, and we can come back in a year's time, they will never deliver. There will never be any talks led by Cohen. There will never be any mediation led by the United States, and I can say that without fear of contradiction. It will never happen because the U.S. government has been very clear about that.
Comrade Karim, please go ahead and add your input on this.
Oh yeah, when I hear both the hot conspiracy theories that is being plotted all over social media, especially from our people, it gets more sticky. I mean, you know, truth is being defined by consistency. This gentleman here called Comrade Bo, him because he's been consistent from the day I joined this revolution, and I started following leadership. Followed him, he's been consistent. That's only you do. And truth could take different forms. One could be honest, sincere, but at the end of the day, realizes that they were wrong. But that is sincerity, and that is consistency. So, look, the problem we have is that not only the fact that Cohen is white-skinned, but the fact that people are desperate to see the Swiss stock collapse is why they are supporting his utterances. Yeah. But this is what they are doing, which is rather disappointing. They are throwing the bathwater with the baby. This man has never, even for 1 second, thought we could be free people, independent in our own restriction. No way. He thinks we must die with Republic of Cameroon. And like I said earlier, even the comments they're using, their premise today is an argument of federation, an argument of stability, an insult to our revolution that everything is taking a normalcy. And then he throws it at the end for us to like beat the dogs, throw them some bones so that they can fight. He throws it at the end, let the US-led talk begin. And our people fail to see 99% of bullshit, and they are holding one nonsense, which is even a bigger shit than even that of the bull. So what is there to say? Dear Southern Cameroonians, we are in the Swiss process because we trust that our case is going to be settled on the debate table. That is where it's going to be settled. We are in the Swiss process because we never plan to fight any war with anyone. We are only depending on ourselves, and we have to solve the problem between us and Republic of Cameroon. We are on the Swiss table, on the table in Switzerland. Why? Because Comrade Bo, I made a very clear statement to the Swiss. I said, the day you guys will invite any federalists in this room with us, I will believe it. We are in the Swiss process. We are sure that they are not talking to us and talking to the campus at the same time. We are in the Swiss process because we know that our intellect is too mature for anybody, the West put together, to take us for a ride. We are in the Swiss process because we respect you. We are in the Swiss process because no, I'm from ground zero. Coming back, by the way, we know the suffering that that is being meted on you. We cannot have this war continue, for crying out loud. And we will not dump the only process that is, by the way, just so you know, it is alive and breathing hard. The Swiss process can breathe corona out of an old person. It is alive. God would keep it alive. So Jesus Christ said, and Comrade Bo was advising us about recognizing leadership. Jesus Christ gave us the methodology. He said, by their fruit, Matthew 7, by their fruit you shall know them. Do thorns, do come out of thorns, or come out of thistle? You hypocrite, why don't you remove the plank in your eye before you can remove the dust in your brother's eye? What is there to say here? What is there to say here is that the little few are trying their best, they're making noise, are doing so in a loud tantrum, and they cannot see that the big problem is the person standing in front of the mirror. The wood is in their eye, and they're struggling with someone who is just crashing their eye because an ant stood by it. So let's be careful, let's stay resolute, and of course, I'm sure we are going to change gears, perhaps talking about the Swiss process in detail.
Yeah, thank you.
And by the way, let me drop this.
All right.
Southern Cameroonians, I've heard your calls. I've heard the hundreds of messages you've advising me not to have certain debates. When I ask people to debate, it's because that's the only way I know how to resolve problems. I'm not trained by my parents or by my education to insult people. This is not what I do. But I've heard you. I've heard you. And to Mr. Eugene, I promised you whatever you had with me, the conversations you contacted me last 2 months having, I promised you, you will never hear from anyone. My promise is still there. You will not hear from everyone. But, and I think whatever it is that was going on, you were sincere. And I did encourage you. But if you continue disrespectfully, Southern Cameroonians will have to know what you've been doing. This is an advice to you, brother to brother. I have to give you here because you insulted me yesterday. So I don't have respect for you
let's
anymore.
leave that. Let's leave that. That's something that both of you can figure out maybe within your personal pages. I have seen some of those things, but we don't elevate childishness by going public about it. But yes, you were right. Let's get to the Swiss initiative. We are talking about Cohen. And you can imagine that the detractors and the enablers out there will be saying, you guys have failed. You have failed with the Swiss initiative. Tell us exactly where you are. Tell us exactly what is going on. I don't think they are wrong to ask that question. I know the three of us, you, myself, Bo, we're all in the middle of that because we're all working on the Swiss initiative, but I'm not in the right place to say it. But let me start with Bo. Comrade Bo, tell Amazonians, where is the Swiss initiative, sir?
Thank you very much, Comrade Chris. This is a topic that we should revisit on a frequent basis. It
Okay.
helps our people stay on page. It helps them understand what is happening, what is not happening. One of the most important things you pack when you go into a revolution is that you pack patience. You load a bag full of patience. Because once you start a revolution, everything is not determined by you, especially when you run an independent struggle. An independent struggle only succeeds when the international community recognizes you, recognizes your country, and grants you admission to the United Nations, for instance. Now, you have to ask yourself, who is closer in this revolution to getting recognition from the international community? Those who sit at the Swiss-led process, supported by the international community, the European Union, the United Nations, the African Union, the Commonwealth of Nations, La Francophonie, Canada, the United States, every one of these big countries. Who is more credible? Who is closer to getting you to that point where you get recognition for your country? Is it the group that tells you that a retired civil servant, diplomat, will set up a process against the willingness of the government of the United States itself and will make that happen for you? Or is this those who are already seated at that table and who have frightened La République du Cameroun to the point that they have taken off? Now, let me tell you what the update is. When we first arrived Switzerland, and I know I have to repeat this because someone is watching today for the first time. When we first arrived Switzerland to discuss this matter, we were unaware that La République du Cameroun had given express approval, mandate to the Swiss to go forward. The way we tested the fact that that mandate had been given was we asked the Swiss, if we give you our approval right now, do you have to go back to La République du Cameroun to get approval? And no, they did not have to. And for evidence of that, once we indicated that we were available to go to these negotiations without preconditions, then the Swiss went ahead and published a statement directly. They did not go to La République to say, well, and that statement said very clearly, the two parties have committed. Now, after that, La République du Cameroun, which does not need prompting from anybody in Ambazonia to go out and say, you are lying on our behalf, La République du Cameroun has never gone out to say, you were lying, we did not give you a mandate. But some people within Ambazonia have given themselves the job of the spokesperson of La République. And they're going out there and saying, the Swiss process is not working. It does not exist. La République has never given them a mandate. Hello? Why are you working for them? I thought you were Ambazonian. If you are Ambazonian and we never gave them a mandate, but they are forced to the table by the fact that we have played some 419 on them, what is your problem? What is your quarrel with that? Now, where this process was is that the team Ambazonia had prepared itself to pull together its negotiating delegation. Again, people of Ambazonia, remember this. None of us who's sitting today negotiating the process, none of us is going to be a negotiator. None of us is going to be negotiating on behalf of the people of Ambazonia. Our business is to try and make sure that everybody comes to the table and that the process is in place. What is the process? Because they have told you that it is not working and all of that. You've heard people say it cannot hold in Geneva. It cannot hold, well, we can sign it in Geneva, but it cannot hold there. Some of them have said, we want the United Nations to take a resolution first. Well, sorry, it does not work that way. And you cannot show one other process where it worked that way. So the process, we have to put in place the process. And the process requires, we were at the face-to-face, the first face-to-face discussions when La République suspended well, they said we are postponing. And they indicated that they were doing that because they were having the national dialogue, because they were going to hold elections. That's the reason they gave. And they said, if we do special status, that will satisfy the demand of the people of Ambazonia. Well, it turns out that none of that stuff was of any interest to the people of Ambazonia. Yes, it was for some federalists. Yes, it was for some people who are interested in crumbs at the table, who are betraying the cause of Ambazonia every day. But La République postponed at that stage. La République, to this day, with every chance in the world, has not gone to a microphone to say, we are not part of the Swiss-led process. So the people of Ambazonia, when I mentioned that you need to pack patience in diplomacy and in legal fights, you have to go back and look at every other one of these fights. Eritrea, 30 years. South Sudan, 25 years. The Palestinians closing in on 100 years right now. Patience is the game. You have to bring patience to the game. We are very lucky, 3 years into our struggle, we have a negotiation. The people who are sitting out are giving, yeah, Comrade Chris. I'm afraid I'm not hearing you.
Let me stop you a little bit there, because when you mentioned the Eritreans, you mentioned the Sudanese, you mentioned the Palestinians. Our problem is money. The ability for us to raise enough funds to sustain this struggle for 30 years, for 25 years, or who knows, maybe 100 years, as in the case of Palestine. What would we have to do to sustain this struggle to the degree of 25, 30 years?
No,
because
Comrade
again,
Chris,
I'm saying this because if money is not coming in, that would be a terrible trajectory to even talk of.
I took those examples not to say that our case will resemble it. Every case is different. And in our case, remember, what Eritrea was fighting for, we already have. Eritrea wanted to be declared independent. We were already declared independent a long time ago. Eritrea wanted to be recognized as a country. We are already recognized as a country. We were a country of our own when we joined La République du Cameroun. Eritrea was looking for a resolution from the United Nations General Assembly granting them independence. We already have that. It is in the light of all of what we have that our process to negotiation, in my opinion, was accelerated the way it was accelerated, that we got there in 3 years. Now, there is money and there is capital of a different nature. There is sweat capital, there is blood capital, there is the investment that our people are making on the ground. And money, in my opinion, isn't going to be the stuff that solves our problem. And if it is, it will be us expanding. The people of Ambazonia will not be able, from their own meager financial means, to support this revolution. We need to turn to the rest of the world. The rest of the world needs to hear the story of a united Ambazonia, about why our people deserve support from the world. Countries that voted for our independence should today be saying to themselves, we are standing behind you. The tough work that we need to do as a team to project the determination to go to independence is being diverted by people who are telling you that there's a Cohen project, that there's somehow, there's going to be another process. Ask yourself, if you were sitting as the US delegation today, and you were hearing people in this revolution say that there is a US process, what do you think about the Swiss process? You're saying to yourself, these people are confused. They don't even know what they want. What is in the US process that you will not want to bring to the Swiss process, let's say? Let's even say there was a US process. What is it that you want to bring to that US process that you cannot today bring to the Swiss process?
Right.
Bring that process, bring that stuff today to the process that exists. Because the longer you stay out, the more rope you give to Mr. Biya. Because what can Mr. Biya say today? Well, I'm out because they're not yet there, all of them.
Comrade Abdul, you were one of those who went to Swiss, and the reason why our detractors say this thing is not working, this Swiss thing is not working, is because you ate the cheese and maybe got an envelope. Tell us, did you eat the Swiss cheese?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so I think yeah, I agree with Comrade Bo, sir. Patience is a virtue, and I think when Comrade Bo was referring to those other countries, God forbid, not necessarily implying that we are going to war. It's just saying that we need patience. But let's not. What has delayed us is us, is our detractors, our own selves. Our enemy has been us. Like we found a way out because we played our card on the table. That's how they found their way out by using their excuse because we are split. How can you even sell your case? How can you even market your situation to the international community when all you do every day is sort yourself on Facebook? Skeptical. They are very skeptical. Now, what the mistake Southern Cameroonians are making is that they think the West is like us. No. The West, they hardly stab themselves on the back. They speak as a one man. The mere fact that Switzerland is in this thing, no other country, even if they want it, no other country can usurp Switzerland until the day Switzerland backs out or outrightly fails. And they are yet to back out and they are yet to fail. Now, we talk about Norway. Do people know what Norway did when the United States attacked Libya? They don't. So what do you trust? I'll say that I trust Comrade Bo. I trust Secretary Chris. I will trust Dr. Cho. I will trust my own self on that table, not the West. They are not going to be presenting our case. We are going to be doing that. They are not going to defend us. We are going to defend ourselves. They are not going to sign papers for us. We are going to be signing these papers. This is where the matter is. So the problem here is a matter of perception. But our perception has been weakened by ego, self-pride. You see a farrago of selective, self-serving opinions. But we forget we are not fighting for ourselves or for one man. We are fighting for these people, if not for anybody, for the thousands that have died in just these past 3 years, for crying out loud. When I was called by the Swiss, I was in. This was a time when Franklin Jume had said he would eliminate myself and Barrister Cook. So I escaped. This call came when I was sleeping. Well, after listening to them, I asked, who are the people you've met so far? They mentioned. Comrade Bo's name entered inside. Then I said, okay, let's continue talking. What do you know about our problem? They explained to me satisfactorily what the Southern Cameroon problem is, what even comrades who are making noise today cannot explain. Thirdly, I asked, is La République du Cameroon aware? And these are my arguments when I was at SET. Because they were asking me, what are you doing in Switzerland? I said, I went to a process that you yourself know, a process that you yourself have endorsed. And the government of La République did not say no to that. The lawyers have it on record. They admitted that they had given their hand on this particular process. So now, and I ask myself, what else do I need to know? Even if all of these answers were no, 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 I will go and listen. That people are killing that people are killing you, and someone comes to ask, what is it we can do to help you? And you won't listen to them. What would you want to do in your life? So regarding Swiss chiefs, I went to the third meeting with an old man. Actually, I landed same time as Comrade Bo. He landed from the US, I landed from Belgium. We traveled, and that same evening, an elderly Southern Cameroonian, who's a book that he had written about our struggle to myself, Dr. Etang. Dr. Atang could be my grandfather. He called me, I think, 4 nights ago. He said he's been hearing this thing about cheese or bribe in Switzerland. He said he was there when I left earlier than them. They even had to contribute some little money to give me so I can buy some chocolate at the airport in Belgium. He said, are people in this country saying that he went at his age to eat cheese, the blood of his children? Is this what people are saying? I said, no, Papa, that is not it. All of these things are miscommunication. I've been holding myself, Secretary Chris, not to put this my skull on the ground in prostration and pray against people. Because the reason why most of us who are true to this cause are in this cause is because we want to liberate homeland. All of this smearing, blackmailing, slander, go now for free. But to be honest with you, people are going to answer for this thing. Our people that are dying from the day like Republic seem to have postponed their stance in the Swiss process, by and large, we are going to be questioning these detractors. This is when we will start calling our shots, Secretary Chris. On that face-to-face, this is when we say, take out your guns from our land. That is where our cards start coming. But our own people are in their ego. And I'm yet asking, I'm right now in the West. Please show me a country that wants to take a process. I will come with you to stop the killing on my people. Show me one. I am waiting. Until then, you will spin around and you will either join us on the Swiss process or you will see us liberate you on the Swiss table. Thank you.
Thank you. I will take one more aspect of the progress of this struggle from the platform of ACT before I open the phone for a few phone calls. Comrade Paul, I guess many Ambazonians are asking right now what is happening to the lawsuit that was supposed to have been filed. Can you give Ambazonians some update as to what is going on, please?
Yeah. Let me start first by joining Comrade Abdul Karim on the last point he made. Look, people of Ambazonia, this is a very simple thing that you should do to every leader. Abdul Karim was saying a moment ago, show me a process, I'll join you. The people of Ambazonia, tell every one of the people you consider leaders, go to every negotiation, not talks, not dialogue. Go to every negotiation that concerns Ambazonia. So bring your strength, political, legal, and whatever strength you have, to the Swiss process until it collapses, until it stops working. And when you start your US process, your Canadian process, your German process, your American process, we will be there. Because we will come to every negotiation where Ambazonia is being discussed. So it's very important. That's what we're going to do. Now I've got a bit of news for Ambazonia. As I said at the beginning of the program, Mr. Biya and his regime just admitted to war crimes. They confessed that they had committed war crimes. We have to remind every Ambazonian and the international community that at the very onset of this war, the first public statement that was published by La République on radio was a commitment to commit war crimes. Because that statement said, we are asking 16 villages in Manu state to evacuate, because if you don't evacuate, you are a terrorist.
Right.
So they took every civilian for a terrorist from the beginning of this war. Atanganji went on the air and said that we were worse than Boko Haram. We had people from their side indicate very clearly that they were going to treat us worse than Boko Haram. They called us dogs and roaches and all that. So it has been systematic. And when the confession happened that we indeed committed war crimes, the next stage is a very simple stage. It is to bring La République du Cameroun before the ICC. And La République du Cameroun is not coming alone. So all those people making the argument that La République du Cameroun has not ratified the Rome Statute, La République du Cameroun is working on this war with other powers. You know the powers. Right. They have ratified. So they are going to come before the ICC. What has happened with the law process, with the law firm right now, I'll give some good news to the people of Ambazonia. One of the things that we argued against Follyhog was that we said to the people of Ambazonia, if a law firm is defending you because of money, La République du Cameroun has more money to give them than you can ever find. And we said to people that the way you will recognize a law firm that can work for the people of Ambazonia is to recognize that that law firm is willing to work for you pro bono. And the law firm that ACT retained for the people of Ambazonia, I am delighted to announce to the people of Ambazonia that that law firm has officially just told ACT that they are willing to wait out COVID-19. They realize that in the process of everything being closed, including courts, including the impossibility to travel, that they don't have to be billing the people of Ambazonia. Now, that is a law firm that is working for our cause. And I asked the people of Ambazonia, ACT will be launching the fundraiser to get us to mobilize the money when we need the money, when the law firm is effective. Right now they're working, but they're telling us we will work pro bono. We will let your people ride out COVID-19. People who are losing their jobs, we want them to get back. And then we will renew the work that we are doing. We will resume where we were going. And only at that point would you start paying. Now, that is the recognition I kept asking the people of Ambazonia to watch out for. A law firm that wants money does not want your freedom. They will accept money from La République du Cameroun. It's true that Bar Association rules prevent them from doing that. But you can be sure that if a lawyer doesn't like your case, doesn't like you, doesn't think you pay them enough, they're going to find a way of wiggling themselves out. Every process you can sign off. Everybody can sign off. So that's some good news that I can give to the people of Ambazonia. And for La République du Cameroun, we postpone your pain, because the longer it is, the more painful it is. You are going to appear before that ICC, and you're going to know what it means to face war crimes. You can ask Charles Taylor and the others who are there.
Thank you. Thank you, Comrade Abdul. You have anything to add there? I know you don't have a lot of knowledge on that lawsuit, but any other subject before I want to open the phone lines?
Oh, yeah. But I want to thank my senior Comrade Bo here, sir. Thank you for teaching us. And he has always kept me apprised. He tells me a lot about these things. And all I want to tell Southern Cameroonians is that even before ACT will be launching a fundraiser to support such causes, this is the time you prep yourself, especially that prep yourself, create your own little groups. Let's not wait until there's fire in the house before we start looking for quench it with. Prep yourself. We will need it. But those are signs. Those are indicators that Comrade Bo mentioned. That somebody who could take elsewhere, me back to this nonsense, or Abdul Karim ate from my trip to Boya, or Barrister Afro ate from my trip to Boya. Do you know how much we refused from La République du Cameroon? Do you know that? So people who can take more from La République, once they opt to stand for you legally, those are indicators of sincerity, honesty, and humanity. But right now is the time to start already putting what you have together, even so that the day of the fundraiser, by the time we will lay in the ground floor, you already have something in hand on which to start. And let me tell you something. You can see, La République knows, our people are the same people who come out and smear to try and frustrate these moves and efforts that people like Comrade Bo would on behalf of ACT will be doing, trying to file lawsuits on behalf of the entire Southern Cameroon. They'll try to smear it. But this is it. Ask yourself why. Why is La République trying to play plausible deniability? Why is the government trying to pin the crimes in Garbu, for example, on a few soldiers? Because they know it is coming. Southern Cameroonians, you and I cannot do anything to La République. Someone needs to take them and represent you in court. Do you have that capability? The answer is no. You need the premise, you need the platform, you need the foundation. And this is what ACT has been doing. I want to thank our seniors, especially the one I share this platform with, Comrade Bo. I know the tireless work he does. He calls me to advise me. He calls me to say, don't say anything. He calls me to say, pray over it. And this is what brotherhood is all about. This is why I can call him comrade. Normally, I should be telling him, sir. This is what I'll do. But I call him, not everyone is qualified to be called comrade. I'll call some people mister. I'll call him brother. I'll call him friend. And some are well-deserved to be called comrades because they understand what is happening. And even if there is a delay in achievement of our objectives, I would say I saw the sincerity. I saw it, and we made it. We did our best. And that is what God wants from us. Do your best and leave the rest with God. Do your best. The humanly best, we have to do it. Yeah, Secretary Chris, you're well in order in that. I don't have a lot of knowledge on this lawsuit, but we are here with someone that can teach us all. Thank you.
Well, thank you. I'm surprised you denied your own my trip to Boyabone. I actually used mine. All these suits here, that's my trip to Boyabone. I made good use of mine. So, but let's get to the phones right now. I got the first caller. I think this is from Switzerland. This guy must be having some good Swiss cheese out there. Hello, sir.
Chris.
Hello,
Well,
sir.
this is the fifth time that I'm asking our able comrade Muhammad to join the IG. This is the fifth time. Why can't the leader of Nori join the IG? It won't change your status, comrade. You are just going to help the IG stronger because we want to see an Amazonian flag in Boya. Please, this is the fifth time coming from me.
Don't you think he's doing enough under the Morris platform?
Yeah, but it will be more will be stronger. The IG will be stronger with people like Muhammad. Please, Muhammad, please.
Because we have the money, including my trip to Boya money.
Secretary, we are winning. They are all crying every day. My Tutukura every day. This is almost 2 years. They are singing my Tutukura every day because they don't have anything else to say. We
All right.
have a group that represents us, and I'm please begging our comrade Muhammad to join the IG. Please.
Okay, all right. I will let him take the question, please. Maybe he has some grace for you today. Thanks for the call.
Thank you.
I mean,
Good fun,
thank you,
please.
comrade. I think there's a principle. If you fail, try again. I'm not saying you fail. I'm just saying that Comrade Sako has not asked me to do something that I've not done. Comrade Chris has not asked me to join in doing something to advance our cause that I will not do. I will do that also for every other comrade in this struggle. I just believe that what we need to do is just remember that principle of all eggs not being in the same basket. Sometimes it helps that I'm looking at something that Abdul Karim is not seeing, because when he will see it, he will tell me, hey, what is that you're looking at? You're going down the wrong road. This is the reason why we are telling everybody, join this Swiss process, because if we are making a mistake now, we will make it on behalf of the people of Ambazonia. And if you are the person out there who could have pointed out the error by being there, you will not be able to forgive yourself by not being there. So please join. Please consider that we are one revolution. I will do anything that is asked of me that promotes this revolution, and I will do it at all times. And on the issue of my trip to Boya, which I've heard Comrade Chris make a big joke about, it's a serious matter, and I know you treat it as a serious matter. But the other thing that I like to say to the people of Ambazonia is, please recognize when something is done right. Before Siseko was abducted, he had ordered an audit. Comrade Sako ordered an audit. Thanks to those two audits, we knew that money was being swindled in the first audit. And then the second audit showed that money was used in certain ways. The other campaigns in this revolution have never shown you any audit. And there are many campaigns, whether it is pins they have sold, whether it is Bitcoins they have floated. There's all kinds of campaigns in this struggle. They have never ever shown you an audit. The people who show you an audit, and they could have invented receipts in the market in Kumba, in Bamenda, or in Lagos, in Calabar, and they did not invent receipts to cover up for money. Those people are more honest than people who, again, to go back to what Comrade Abdul Karim was saying, who have this plank in their eye, but are so worried about the dust in your own eye.
Thank you. Great answer there. Let me get to the next caller. I think this is from Australia. Hello.
Hello, Secretary Chris.
Yes, sir. You are live, sir. What is your question? You are calling from Australia, I guess, correct?
Yes. This is Comrade Ghana from Australia. I just wanted to, first of all, say to Comrade, to our leaders that are there, Mr. Herbert, Mr. Abdul Karim, you guys are so much appreciated in our revolution because of your consistency. So I really want to just thank you guys for being consistent for the people of Southern Cameroon. I've got a direct questions to both of you. as leaders in our revolution, would you, no matter whatever happens, go on your social media page and threaten to chop the head of any Saudi Cameroons native on ground zero and hang it on a stick? It's a direct question. Would you ever say that, or would you threaten anyone no matter what happens, or would you rather threaten a La Republique soldier that's killing our people and tell me, if you go to the villages again and kill the next person, I'm going to chop your head and put it on a stick? Which would you prefer? I'm directing this question to both of you, two leaders, please.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. I will allow Abdul to go first. Please make it 50 seconds so that we can take as many calls as possible, each of you. Abdul, go first, please.
Oh yeah, very simple from me. I would never even insult any Southern Cameroonian publicly. Will I even threaten them not to promise help? So this is something out of place to do. It is uncalled for. It is uncalculated. It is unwise. So no, the answer is no. I would never attempt such path.
My answer, my dear comrade, is also a no. I will never do threats. In this particular case, what they are threatening is a war crime. We have people who are saying they're garring people's hands, meaning they're maiming, mutilating people's bodies. These are war crimes. And for the information of the people of Ambazonia, not only La Republique is going to face war crimes, all those who are committing war crimes in Ambazonia right now, or who are encouraging people to commit war crimes, they are going to face the same charges.
Thank you. Let's get the next caller who is calling from ground zero. Hello.
Hello, Tete Chris. Good evening.
Good evening, ma'am. Where are you calling from on ground zero?
Yeah, I am calling from Bamenda.
Okay. How was Ghost Town in Bamenda today?
Very, very effective.
Awesome. Wonderful. What is your question or contribution?
No, I just want to thank you people for what you people are doing, Tete Chris. You are doing a lot that we cannot even pay you back, because we are standing because you are from there. You give us courage. You know, those people that, like you people, you are our brother because you are fighting for this revolution. Anybody that is fighting for this revolution is our brother and our sister. So thank you. And I also thank my brother Adul Karim. He is one in a million. He is not Muslim, he is our brother. He has taken a step to join us. I love him very well. May God bless him. He should continue. God said that many are called and few are chosen. He is a really chosen one. I pray that God should really keep that our brother Adul Karim for us, because I've never seen Muslim stand in this way. So from today, Adul Karim is not a Muslim. He is our brother. And I really thank him, and I pray that God should continue to keep him more and more, because he is seeing that people are dying, and he is having sympathy too much that we cannot even say it. May God bless him.
All
Let
right.
us join our head together to fight the revolution to an end. We have already ended the war. There's nothing. La Republique, they are frustrated. They don't even know what to do. So we should continue to stand firm.
Thank you. I am glad.
Will take this country.
Thank you. I am so excited hearing that coming from you on ground zero. You guys should not mind the characters we have here in the diaspora who are trying to send a message to you that it is over. It is not over till it is over. We want you guys on ground zero to know. Some will capitulate, but there are also those who will stand in to the end for you. Thanks for the call.
Yes.
Okay, let me see who is calling next. Ground Zero. Hello, sir.
Yeah, hello, Secretary.
Good evening,
Good
sir.
evening.
Good evening. May I know where you're calling from on Ground Zero, please?
Calling from Ground Zero, Victoria.
Victoria. Did you guys observe Ghost Town today in Victoria?
That's right, as usual. You know, the people have now understood everything. Now, I have a question.
Okay.
Yeah. The thing is that if you look at the international organizations like the Commonwealth and the United Nations Human Rights Council, they have been silent all the while. You people went there right to the secretariat in London,
Yeah.
and the people have been so silent. What are they going to say today? Today that they have accepted their culpability. It is a disgrace for those such organizations.
Thank you. I would like Bo to comment on that because we were in London together with Bo and we literally almost slept at that gate for them to give us access to any official in there. Bo, please say something there.
Yeah,
Thank you for
no,
the call.
thank you very much. One of the things that the people of Ambazonia need to recognize is that these international organizations are full of international blemish. They are corrupt. There are many civil servants there who are very, very corrupt. Some of them would accept money the same way we were talking about Cohen working for anyone. Now, I don't want to blanket the entire organization because we saw in Gabu very brave United Nations workers who were insisting these are the crimes that have been committed, with some of them being threatened by La République du Cameroun. So these organizations, they try, it is thanks to their conspiracy that in 1961, our people did not get independence as a country of its own. There are these interests that are preventing and blocking our way. The way we are going to get to success is that the people here on a repeated basis, because La République is selling them just one lie. They're telling them that if we kill every member of the restoration forces, this matter will be over. You, by telling us from Victoria today, from Bamenda, from Kumba, that Ghost Town is working well, that the people are behind their revolution, that is the message the international community will hear to understand that there is no military solution to this problem. And they are going to have to turn to what the people of Ambazonia demand. And the people of Ambazonia demand something that once we sit at the table of negotiation, it will go through very easily, because La République still does not have a justification as to why they're occupying our territory and our country.
Okay, thank you. Let's take another caller coming in. Hello.
Yeah, good evening, Secretary Chris. This is Cyprian calling from Germany.
Okay, thanks for the call, sir. What is your question or comment?
Yes, my contribution here is I want to thank the panelists, Abdul Karim and senior comrade and statesman, Comrade Herbert. I want to tell them that we are very happy because when they come like this on air, they enlighten us. It is very refreshing and it motivates us again to believe we are on the right track, because with all the pollution on air, it was difficult for some of us to really be on track. But when they show up like this, because they are people of integrity, people who respect and who believe, when they show up like this and they explain things to us, we understand we are on the right track. We get to know people were telling us lies here and then just to confuse us. So now my one question I have for Comrade Bohebe here is, we saw him demonstrating with a young man in front maybe of a TV station or a media station, with a young man who has been insulting and humiliating our Ambazonian women. So I want to ask him, is he regretting that he ever stood side by side with this young man? His name is Eritato, with this young man to carry on any demonstration, because we know Herbert is a man of integrity. So is he regretting for ever stood up side by side with this young man for any demonstration regarding his attitude towards our women right now? And then my second and last question is that, please, how often can they come like this to enlighten us, to keep us on track? because we get fake news all over. But people like them that we trust, when they come like this, we are confident. How often can they come to enlighten us and to refresh us? Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for the last question. I will answer that as often as we can make it possible here at ABC, and you can trust that we will do it again and again and again. But to the first question, I guess Ntumfoin knows who the caller is referring to.
Yeah. No, thank you very much. I mentioned a moment ago that it's not only La République Cameroon that is going to face war crimes. Our people who are committing war crimes are going to face war crime charges. They're going to end up at the ICC themselves, because when a tribunal will start off the process of investigating, they will not discriminate between crimes committed by La République Cameroon and by our people. There are people in this revolution whom we have pointed out from the very beginning are not with us. And it is not from out of just speculation. It is from out of what they have said and what they have done. Eric Tato has said previously that he was responsible for the chiefs that were abducted in the southern zone, one of whom died, if you remember. If he's responsible for kidnapping, he's not different from Boko Haram. He has owned up for responsibility for attacking and maiming people. He calls it garrying people. It was established as a war crime in Sierra Leone. He has indicated in the case of lockdowns that he wants people to be fired and at gunpoint indiscriminately, and that they should be killed. That is a call for war crimes to be committed on the civilian population. He was out there jumping and telling the world press that our people were those who kidnapped the students of PSS Nkwen, when we know that Amel, a soldier of La République du Cameroun, was the one in charge of that operation. These people, I am very sad to say, do not belong in this revolution. And there has to be a time when we have to find an instrument that tells the entire international community not to link any activity of these people to what our people want, because they are giving all of us a bad name.
Thank you. Thank you. Adul, you have anything to add there? Because I think this is a phenomenon going on in the struggle right now.
Oh, yeah. Before that, I want to thank my mommy who called from Bamenda, and I just want to remind her that I cannot be a Muslim until I accept Jesus Christ. So I'm still the brethren of Southern Cameroonians, still a Muslim. Being a Muslim, I'm still a brethren. In Islam, we must accept Jesus Christ before we can be Muslims. We
as
have
your
the presence,
personal
but that
savior,
is
right?
No, not as that, but as the Messiah of God, and the person who is coming back on the last day, of course, to kill the Dajjal, who is Satan. So we are going to discuss that on another day. But I just want Mami to know that I remain a Muslim, and yet a brother. And of course, I'm a soul of the sun. My grandparents came to Southern Cameroon in the 18th century. My grandfather, and my mother is from the. My roots are there. My is in the ground. So I'm your brother. Yeah, regarding the specific question the brother asked from Germany, it's really sad. In Islam, women are so precious to us. Insulting women is not anything anyone wants to dare with. These people carried us for 9 months in their belly. They raised us, and when they gave birth to us, they didn't give birth to doctors, to scholars, to engineers, to journalists. They gave birth to Abdul Karim, to a child before they even named. Prophet Muhammad said, no, if you give your mother 7 mountains worth of gold, you have not compensated for the oof she did when she was in labor. There's nothing we can do to compensate them. And the exegesis of this particular phrase from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam applies to all the women. Women, children, as a matter of fact, in the Quran, Islam teaches us that if you had female children and you raised 3 of them well, without showing discrimination between them and the male children, God will grant you paradise. The man asked the Prophet, what if you did so just to 2 daughters? Prophet Muhammad said the reward is the same. You don't want the curse of women. You don't want a woman to cry for you. You don't want that. So insulting women is out of this. It's on Southern Cameroon. It's ahistoric. It is un-Christian. It is un-Islamic. It is not our culture. People need to tell us where they found that from. This is not us, and we ask all Southern Cameroonians to refrain from such practices. Our children should not even hear that. That is not what they should be taught. Thank you very much. And I think that was an important question. We should know others who keep throwing insults. Be careful when you insult women. I'm telling you. I see young men also who think they're having fun on Facebook. Be very, very careful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let me say,
yes,
let me just say one last thing there, Comrade Chris. One last thing, just to say, I heard a short video, a short audio from the field marshal apologizing because he used wrong language towards women. Congratulations, field marshal. You teach by that example.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get the next caller here. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Maryland.
And what is the contribution, sir?
I just want to make an observation. I would have loved to ask questions, but for the essence of time, I want to make an observation. Okay. One, I want to say thank you so much, Secretary Chris. You are doing a wonderful job. And no one should derail you from what you are doing. And to Bo Herbert and our brother, Abdul Karim, you have listened to your people talk to you, to tell you how much they rely on you, to count on you. What they have said to you is more than any money anybody can give you. Should you betray them? I have followed all of you. I had a question I wanted to ask Borbet, but someone asked that question earlier, and he answered the question so well. It is not necessary, it is not possible that all of us will arrive Boya from the same direction, but we can arrive Boya from different directions with the same goal. This is different from people who are distracting us, and I see Borbet doing a wonderful job. Please keep doing the wonderful job. Our people have died. If we should betray the blood of our people today for any single franc, I don't know. I don't know what we'll be thinking about. There is no price for their money. The price for their money is the intelligence. The price for their death is the intelligence that you have today to defend them. The price for their death is the reliance that the people are telling you that we rely on you. We cannot do what you are doing, but we rely on you to do what we can to take us to Boya. Thank you so much. You guys are doing a wonderful job.
Thank you. Thank you for the call. Thank you for the call. Intum Foin and Abdul, we will take 1 minute commercial out before we come back and take one last question before we end the program. Thank you. Stay put, please.
You need a financial instrument that provides a hedge against inflation, 100% guarantees that you will not lose your money, has tax-free growth and distribution, the ability to take an interest-free loan, avoids probate, provides creditor protection, guarantees your family that your income will be replaced should you die, helps you protect yourself financially against chronic, critical, and terminal illness, and of course allows you to take money anytime for any reason at any age without a tax penalty. You need only as little as $50 to invest per month. Contact Irene Fombo. Tell 513-5014-177 or send an email to irenenpmsn@gmail.com.
Hey now, take a step outside and seize the day now. Set aside your worries, it's okay now. The sun is here to stay.
You need a financial instrument that provides a hedge against inflation, 100% guarantees that you will not lose your money, has tax-free growth and distribution, the ability to take an interest-free loan, avoids probate, provides creditor protection, guarantees your family that your income will be replaced should you die, helps you protect yourself financially against chronic, critical, and terminal illness, and of course allows you to take money anytime for any reason at any age without a tax penalty. You need only as little as $50 to invest per month. Contact Irene Fombo. Tell 513-5014-177 or send an email to irenenpmsn@gmail.com.
All right, thanks for staying put, ladies and gentlemen. We take the last caller, and we call it a day. Hello, sir. Hello. Hello,
Yes,
sir.
I would like to be. Can I see that you're on break now at the moment? I would love to ask my question to Comrade Bo and Abdul Karim.
Yes, go
Hello.
on, please. Go on. We are live right now.
Hi there.
Yes.
I'm calling from the Netherlands. I wanted to, first of all, very quickly, talk to you, Comrade Bo, who is doing a wonderful job out there. And we are currently looking at this Ambazonia Calling program. To him, I hope that he's documenting alongside his team everything they're doing. And to Adul Karim, I understand your absence at Equinox has affected their current ratings. We're watching that. I would urge Comrade Chris to keep putting the Ambazonia library for genocide out there, the website, so the world can take a look. And also, we're part of a team. We're reviewing, because Leiden University in the Netherlands is one of those institutions that are documenting the things happening in the southern Cameroons.
What is the name of the university again?
Can you help us understand what you do differently in terms of documenting the current program that you are doing? Because in the future, you should be receiving interviews concerning the facts and the information you're having from Southern Cameroon. And my last question to Abdul Karim is, when you're going back to your home country, do you tend to appear on TV in person, or you plan to not attend interviews?
Thank you for the call, sir. I will have them answer your questions now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Comrade Bo, go ahead, please.
Okay, I hope I understood the question. The question, I believe, was what we are doing at Ambazonia Calling to make sure that we can document what we are doing, because we understand we are going to be subpoenaed in the future to come and help the world understand what is going on. It's part of the reason why we have our weekly news update, our weekly news wrap-up. It's part of the reason why everything that we need to have, we are storing away on a computer hard drive. We are keeping every image of massacres that come across our way, and we are documenting as much as possible. As part of the lawsuit that we're going to be starting, we're going to be asking you on ground zero to join us in that process. In fact, you will be joining as party to the lawsuit with possibilities of seeking compensation, damages, reparations for the stuff that you have gone through. Don't listen to these people in La République du Cameroun who have gone through banks and say they have taken money because they're going to reconstruct on our behalf. They will not reconstruct on behalf of the people of Ambazonia. We will reconstruct on our own. And you, if your family member has been killed, if you know someone who has been killed, if you witness an incident where someone is being tortured, document it. Make sure that you join the lawsuit when we started. Make sure that you claim damages on your behalf, on behalf of your family members. Everyone who's died in Ambazonia, we are going to sue La République du Cameroun. We're going to make sure that they turn that money over. And I will dedicate any amount of time to make sure that the documents that I have, the ones that we have used on Ambazonia Calling, the ones that I've written up as stories, the ones that have written up as reports going to Congress, that all of those are available so that the lawyers can exploit them to the maximum extent, and so that we can hang that rope around the neck of La République du Cameroun and, finish with them.
Abdul, please.
Oh yeah, just to add on what Senior Comrade just mentioned, and this is why we are now we have now we are finalizing on a lean structure for ACT, which of course will have a department. We intend to call it the offline, online information department. This to do with communication. I trust advice of people like Comrade Bo. We are going to extend such communication to ground zero and other parts of the world, to all Southern Cameroonians. We're going to gather all the data. We've already built specific and particular data bank so that going forward to this, moving forward to this lawsuit. So we are going to be doing that. I think it's important. And me going back, by the way, I'll start with the first thing I'm sure said. My rating has dropped. So I never ever went to for any reason, because my people are being killed, and I'm called for interviews. The world needs to know the truth. I need to analyze to the best of my ability. And yes, of course, when God takes me back home, I'm going to be attending all interviews regarding Southern Cameroon. And of course, most importantly, debating the points we have to debate. And just so you know, 4 nights ago, I was on Equinox, and 2 nights ago, I was on Africa. Yes, so we are not going to stop telling the world the truth, defending our points, and of course, analyzing the facts as they happen. So, and thank you for following up on us.
All right, gentlemen, I think we have come to the end of this for now. For now, we will come back to it again as time goes on. We shall have many other things to talk about: the progress of the Swiss stocks, and of course also the progress on the litigation going on at the ICC. But I would like to give you just 50 seconds each to say one more thing, if to encourage Ambazonians who are sitting in their sitting rooms watching you on their television set. What would you tell them about the future of this revolution?
In 50 seconds, I will say, to summarize the theme of our conversation tonight, Ambassador Herman Cohen, please shut up. All of you who are calling for a U.S. mediation or dreaming of one, there's none. Please join the Swiss-led process. That's the only process that's there. I know that many of you are very, very intelligent. We need your intelligence at that table. We need your expertise at that table. Don't sit out and say you're waiting for something that will never come. So join us there. For the people of Ambazonia, back in Ambazonia, just know this. You have fought this revolution. It's not those of us abroad. It is those of you at home who have refused to grant consent to be governed by the monsters in Yaoundé. It is those of you who are observing Ghost Town. It is those of you who stubbornly watch this program knowing that you could be arrested. It is those of you who go out there with gun in hand to defend your people knowing that you're going to put your life on the line. It is those of you who have ended up in refugee camps, who are internally displaced, those of you in the dungeons of La République du Cameroun, where today they are trying to kill you with COVID-19. God protect you. God bless you. You will survive. Ambazonia will thrive. We will be independent. We will see our motherland, and no one will stop us. So keep your courage, keep your spirit, and let's drive on.
Thank you, sir. Comrade Abdul, please. Last word, 50 seconds.
All right, thank you so much. So let me begin by thanking Comrade Bo here. Thank you for the lessons. We've learned a lot. Thank you for your commitment. I mean, at your age, I wonder why you're fighting. Because even if Ambazonia was given you today, I wonder how long you have to live it. The only reasoning, the only logic is that you're doing it for us and our children. Secretary Chris, thank you so much for all the effort you invest. Only God can bless you. I can imagine what consumes you in terms of energy that you put in to gather all of this information and be here almost every day. May God bless you. Ambassador Cohen, perhaps let's not blame him. When people eat so much, they dream. He can come up tomorrow and say it was a dream. Because the only thing that can explain such a statement that our people follow, that a man defends a federalist position or even a unionist position and say that the US should lead it, and we are clapping against a process that La Republic is running away from, then we should be really, really enjoying from the logic of a madman. The madman here is Ambassador Cohen. This is the first time I will use such a language, because this is outright madness. And just so you know, other diplomats have used it. They have told us perhaps he's illusionally mad. I don't know what that means in English. Now, the only process that there is, dear Southern Cameroonians, and this doesn't mean we support Switzerland. We support that process. That is what we are supporting. The only process that there is. And I'm making this argument from a point of evidence. I have multiple attestation from all major stakeholders that the only one there is for now is the Swiss process. This is why we have to be at it. We have to be on it, all of us. And then for the people on the ground, of course, inshallah, I'll be coming back. I'll be coming back. You must have heard a lot of things happening here. No, those things are bound to happen, but of course, you know my resolve, and I know your own resolve. Permit me provide an audible here, Secretary Chris. Dear Southern Cameroonians, most of you online now, watching ABC, you have little businesses. I'm calling on the management of ABC, even if it means at the rate of 20,000, 30,000 francs. Please send your little businesses to ABC. We need ABC to run adverts. We need it to be a TV. I want to watch your products. I want to watch your services. I want to watch your efforts on here, on ABC. All the little money you give for people to run errands for you in terms of publicizing your businesses, do it on ABC. Today, you can even run your small productions with your phone, no matter how it is. Let's support the one TV, in my opinion, that stands very objective. You hear people calling from the Netherlands. You hear people calling from the Netherlands, and he's saying, when I return to my home country, implying that he's not even from Southern Cameroon. Thank you very much. May God bless you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu alaikum, comrade. Thank you, gentlemen, for coming on board tonight. I want to believe that this has been a very exciting, educative, and informative show. And Ground Zero can rest assured that the majority of us are still standing in for this revolution. And again, we will stand till the end. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all we had for you tonight. Just as Abdul has said, please, we crave your donations here at ABC. If you love what we are doing, please get to the website, abcambertv.org. Just hit on the register button and enroll to become a club member of ABC. Thank you for tuning in, and good night.
You need a financial instrument that provides a hedge against inflation, 100% guarantees that you will not lose your money, has tax-free growth and distribution, the ability to take an interest-free loan, avoids probate, provides creditor protection, guarantees your family that your income will be replaced should you die, helps you protect yourself financially against chronic, critical, and terminal illness, and of course allows you to take money anytime for any reason at any age without a tax penalty. You need only as little as $50 to invest per month. Contact Irene Fombo. Tell 513-5014-177 or send an email to irenenpmsn@gmail.com.
Are you tired of going from dealership to dealership looking for that used car that perfectly fits both your lifestyle and your budget? Are you bored with the same old tactics, the same old styles, and the same old disappointments when you don't find exactly what you want? Are you frustrated because of bad credit or tired of being rejected of in-house financing? Are you tired of going from garage to garage for a car? How about that filthy old car that you used to drive? Are you done? Welcome to the new experience. Baffert Auto Sales has sold and financed cars to over 50,000 people across the country. Our exclusive in-house financing model allows us to provide flexible options for all. Enjoy low rates, free pickup, and award-winning customer service. Reserve today. Baffert Auto helps make car renting easy and seamless for all of our customers. Our financing options allow you to shop our vehicle inventory for the exact used car, truck, or van that best fits your needs. Car selection and customer satisfaction are of great importance to us. We provide the best mechanical repairs, and our services take just minutes. Detail your car with us and get out of that filthy old smell and into something sweet. We will even do your oil change at the lowest rate. And please do not forget that with Barcode Auto Sale, you own and drive your car before you even have to pay us. So come on down and visit us and drive away with your new car.
Barcode Autos, own and drive before you pay. 240-486-4664.
You need a financial instrument that provides a hedge against inflation, 100% guarantees that you will not lose your money, has tax-free growth and distribution, the ability to take an interest-free loan, avoids probate, provides creditor protection, guarantees your family that your income will be replaced should you die, helps you protect yourself financially against chronic, critical, and terminal illness, and of course allows you to take money anytime for any reason at any age without a tax penalty. You need only as little as $50 to invest per month. Contact Irene Fombo. Tell 513-5014-177 or send an email to irenenpmsn@gmail.com.
Times of joy have been too brief. The threat of death posed by weapons made you leave your own possessions. But do not sink, you need to float. In times of need, I'll be your boat. Let's stand together, you and me, address the needs of refugees.
Walk with me, talk with me. Don't you leave me all alone. Stand by me, pray with me. I can't do this on my own. Walk with me, talk with me.
nothing to do with you. We're all in this thing together until it's over, and it will be over soon. God bless you.
Carefully. Chinese are ruling the Chinese land. Japan is ruled by Japanese. England is governed by Englishmen. America is governed by Americans. So Africa must be ruled by Africans. I wanna know who owns the land. We must rule from Cape to Cairo. We must rule our purpose land. I say, we want to know who owns the land. I want to know who owns the land. Aslan, hey, Papa Aslan, Papa Aslan, Papa Aslan. It must be free. Angola want to know who owns the land. Mozambique want to know who owns the land. Namibia want to know who owns the land. I say, Soweto want to know who owns the land. Zimbabwe want to know who owns the land. African freedom fighters want to know who owns the land. Papa Slam. Now listen to the history. We've been here since creation. We've been here since creation. What else do I know? Since the time of sun and sun. Since the time of moon and stars. Since the time of air and sea. Since the time of men and things. We must run from Cape to Cairo. Hello. I feel it's all over than ever. Now we are the crossroad. On the femo, don't be like. I feel it's all over than ever. On the femo, don't be like. Oh, Palimu me ya gbera baba. Yeah, oh Palimu Jesu ya leko. Yeah, Palimu Ziza ya leko ye. Oh mi ye. Tolere oh mi ye. Oh demeno dem na bogise. Oh Palimu demeno dem na bogise.